We're going to look at Geo Conquesting versus HyperMobile and why they should be used together. You see, both technologies are used together for each of their benefits. HyperMobile targets and shows ads immediately when they're in the target area, and then Geo Conquesting is used to retarget them long term after they leave the target area, or moving to conquest or capture the leads and the customers that are somewhere else and bringing them to our clients' locations. HyperMobile is a process of showing display ads on mobile phones when they're in a designated area. So geotargeting is a technology that's used to trigger when a mobile phone is in that area. So you can basically put a fence around, which sometimes is referred to as geofencing, an area so that display ads are shown when someone is in that area. Then once they're in the location and their phone has been pinged, the display ad spaces on websites like Fox, CNN, WebMD, and millions of other places will then have ads whenever they're using the phone in that designated area. The next thing is cookies are placed on the phone and devices to retarget only on their mobile devices, and mainly while they're there, because whenever they get ready to leave, as you'll see in a second, it kind of goes away. So the benefit of HyperMobile is immediately showing ads while someone's in the geo-targeted area. The weaknesses of HyperMobile are retargeting without geoconquesting. It's not very effective on mobile devices because it does not usually continue beyond the current browsing session, because when they close it out, poof, it's gone, and you're only able to show ads when inside the geo-targeted area. So as soon as they go outside the fenced area, poof, it's basically, they're like a ghost. They're gone, and you cannot continue to put your ads on their phone. That's where geoconquesting comes in. Geotargeting is a geotargeting technology used to trigger when a mobile phone enters a designated location. And once this happens, an application that resides on their phone is contacted by us to retrieve the mobile phone's advertising ID. It's kind of like a MAC address on a computer or a router. You have an advertising ID on your phone. The next step is, once we collect the advertising ID, every time someone enters a geo-targeted area, we have a technology that can get that advertising ID from the mobile phones. This includes both iPhones and Androids. It's special because advertising IDs can only be obtained by having an application installed on their mobile phone. The good news is we don't have to put that app there. We can use an app that's already on there. An agreement with 180,000 plus applications on the Android Play Store and the Apple App Store allow us to get these advertising IDs using their apps. Apps like Google Maps and other major applications are some of these that are included in the agreement. So unlike some things where you have to, sometimes with geofencing or with beacons as some people know it, they have to have their Bluetooth on, or they have to actually have an app already on their phone. In this case, we don't need a specific app. We can use the apps they already have to capture the advertising ID. Here's why that is so important. It's in the next step, and that is cross-device retargeting. See, we not only show the ads that are on their own ads on their phone, but we're also able to show ads on other devices like their laptops or their tablets. Advertising ID, when they're collected and tracked and cataloged and sent to a demand-side platform, we can retarget those who are in the geo-target areas. The special process using third-party services allow us to know which computers are connected to a home and work computers that they use. It's done through the processes like logging into a bank account. For instance, I use Bank of America. I have the app on my phone, and I log on to Bank of America on my computer, and it connects those two. So it lets us use the information to place ads on their mobile phones, work, and home computers. So everywhere they're looking during a period of time of retargeting, they're able to see the ads that we're putting in front of them. Let's look at exactly how this would work. Here's a restaurant in Greenville called Northampton Wines. It's a wine cafe. And they have a beautiful wine cellar. They have wonderful food and a great ambiance. They are over here. They're in downtown Greenville, and they're on South Church Street, which is a busy street. However, it's basically a pass-through street. So you have to really be looking for it to see it. Now, the downtown Greenville area where all of the restaurants are, where people frequent by walking around, are here next to the downtown Falls Park on the Reedy. And so in looking at that, what Northampton wants to do is bring the people that are coming to this area over here to their restaurant where they're not as likely, where they're not seen as easily. So if we look at it, some of the restaurants that they would target, now they want to target restaurants that are the same. Now you don't want to target the coffee shop to bring people to Northampton Wine and Dine. You don't want to target those types of things. You want to target restaurants that are similar. So we have Sobeys, which is an upper scale restaurant. We have Larkin's on the River. We have the Lazy Goat and Rick Irwin's West End Grill. Now, what happens is with having HyperMobile and Geo Conquesting, the first thing is with HyperMobile, whenever someone's at the Lazy Goat, and this is actually a picture off of the Lazy Goat Google Maps location. So I know that when people are at the Lazy Goat, even though it's a higher end restaurant, they have their mobile phones. Why is that? Well, they have them because they're either taking pictures of their food, they're checking in, they're taking pictures of one another, or they're just looking at it while they're waiting. So with the HyperMobile, they can see the ads while they're there. And then what happens with Geo Conquesting is after they leave, they get to see the ads for Northampton wines on their desktop, on their mobile phone, and on their tablets anytime they're going to a site that has a retargeting agreement, like CNN or the Weather Channel or AOL.com or USA Today. Dozens, ESPN, dozens and dozens of sites that have retargeting agreements. Those ads are going to show up because we have their advertising ID from their phone. So the next thing that's going to happen is we're going to bring somebody from the Lazy Goat over to Northampton. We're going to bring somebody from Sobeys over to Northampton. We're going to bring somebody from Larkin's on the River. We're going to bring people from Rick Irwin's. And what that does is it not only makes it so that they're making more money, it makes it so that all of these people have come from the competitors. This is how we can say we are legally / literally stealing customers from the competitors. We're making sure that they know about Northampton Wine and Dine. One of the things we ask a lot of times is, how do you get your information in front of your right target market? Well, you do that by targeting them based on where they're at. In this case, the competitors. But there's another way that Geo Conquesting can work as well. Let's look at the case of a personal injury attorney. Okay, it doesn't do them a lot of good to target other personal injury attorneys because whenever somebody's already going into the office, they've pretty much made a decision. So where should we target? What happens when someone has a slip and fall? Where do they typically go? They typically go to the emergency room. So with HyperMobile and Geo Conquesting, what we can do is while someone is sitting in the emergency room, either in the emergency room or their loved one sitting in the waiting room, a lot of times people are on their phones because they're on their phones all the time these days. And while they're there, we capture their advertising ID, and then we can immediately start showing them ads for a personal injury attorney. And then it follows them around the next 3 to 4 weeks as well. So everywhere they go, they're continuing to see an advertisement for a personal injury attorney. Why would this be so critical for personal injury? Dallas truck accident lawyer, $425 a click. Car accident attorney in California, $330. Motorcycle accident, $305. Car accident lawyer, Pittsburgh, $262. All of these, and you can look through here, are over $200 per click. Just one click. What we found on average, whenever you have a click on a banner ad, you're typically looking somewhere around $10 to $15 a click instead of hundreds of dollars. Not only that, whenever someone comes in, whether it's at the restaurant, then whether we're back here and the person comes in the restaurant or they come into the personal injury attorney's office, it captures them as a conversion. Now they can call or they can fill out a form on a landing page as a conversion, but also we're going to capture it whenever they come in to the place of business. We're going to capture it because we have their advertising ID and we know that they're showing up inside that fence. And we know they are now a conversion. Now we do it by the clicks, we do it by the conversions of them actually coming into the business. So it really gives you a ton of value and the effectiveness of using Geo Conquesting. Now let's take a look at some more target markets.